Okay, chapter 10, the programming of human perception. What if people don't actually experience reality, but instead they experience their conditioning? One of the deepest ideas in this chapter of Children of the Matrix is that perception itself can be programmed. We're seeing it today, but it's not necessarily through force, but it's through repetition, the narrative, emotion, belief systems. And honestly, the more I reflected on this chapter, the more I realized how much human beings experience life through filters they rarely examine. Because people don't simply see reality objectively, they interpret it through their conditioning, through their memory, through their identity, through fear. And maybe awakening begins the moment someone becomes aware of the lens they're looking through. Let's go there. This chapter made me think deeply about belief systems because beliefs shape perception. Two people can witness the exact same event and walk away with completely different truths. Why? Because perception is filtered through your upbringing, your culture, experience, trauma, identity. And most people don't consciously choose many of those filters. They inherit them, absorb them, repeat them. And over time, the filter begins to feel like reality itself. It's powerful because people often defend their conditioning as truth. Another huge theme in this chapter is repetition, because repetition shapes familiarity. And we know some people are repeating right now in the world, they're repeating lies over and over and over, because familiarity often becomes belief. People hear something enough times and eventually stop questioning it. That's psychology, not weakness. Human beings are highly suggestible through repetition. Narratives repeated emotionally and consistently begin shaping collective perception. And once belief becomes emotionally attached to identity, people resist questioning it, because questioning the belief starts feeling like questioning themselves. And that's profound. This chapter also explores how fear affects awareness. Fear narrows perception. It creates tunnel vision and reactive thinking, emotional decision making. And when people are afraid, they often stop reflecting deeply because survival consciousness takes over. It's important because fear doesn't only influence behavior, it influences what people are capable of perceiving. And maybe one of the deepest forms of sovereignty is remaining conscious while fear is present. And on a daily basis, with what's going on in the world today, fear is being put out there to just terrify people. They're stuck in that conditioning, and then they get these false truths, these lies being put out and repeated and repeated and repeated. People are lost and controlled right now. Okay. One thing this chapter made me think about deeply is people often believe they are thinking rationally when they're actually reacting emotionally. Emotion heavily shapes interpretation, and emotional conditioning can become so automatic people stop noticing it. That's why emotional awareness matters so much, because unconscious emotional reactions distort perception. And awakening often begins when someone learns to observe their reactions instead of immediately becoming them. That's a massive shift in consciousness. This chapter also points towards the relationship between identity and belief. People become attached to narratives because those narratives support their identity. Political identity, religious identity, and personal identity. And once identity becomes fused with belief, people Resist awareness that threatens that structure, because the ego interprets uncertainty as danger. That's why awakening can feel destabilizing, not because truth is dangerous, but because identity structures resist transformation. The deeper I sat with this chapter, the more I realized awakening may actually be the development of discernment. Not blindly believing everything, not blindly rejecting everything, but learning to observe consciously, to remain aware of emotional manipulation, to recognize inherited filters, and to become responsible for your own perception. That feels important, because discernment is different from paranoia. Reactive fear loses consciousness. My biggest takeaway from this chapter is this: most people are not experiencing reality directly. They are experiencing conditioned interpretation. And maybe awakening begins when someone becomes aware enough to ask, what beliefs am I seeing through? Because the moment you question the lens, you begin changing what becomes visible. Maybe freedom isn't only about changing the world around you. Maybe it begins by becoming conscious of the filters shaping the way you see it. If this resonates, please subscribe, please share the video. I'm walking chapter by chapter through Children of the Matrix, through consciousness, sovereignty, and awakening. Please tell me in the comments what you think. And do you think people see reality clearly, or mostly through conditioning? All right, you guys, share this if you can. I want to get these messages out. In the world we're living in, we're trying to break free of this matrix that wasn't created by us. Only our beliefs and the beliefs that we have had in our lives. So sharing this message maybe to help more people awaken would be great if you did that, guys. All right, thanks for watching and listening.